I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a moment of silence, please. Roll call.
Counselor Chamberlain?
Here.
Counselor Heising?
Here.
Counselor Schneider?
Here.
Counselor President Steers?
Here.
Counselor Tiarena?
Here.
And Counselor Stickley has an excused absence.
Okay. Thank you.
We have 5 members present. We have a quorum.
Thank you. I wasn't sure who to say, so I just asked for roll call. Thank you. Okay, council has had time to review the prior meetings minutes. Do we have a movement?
I'm Harold Stanton, so I will move.
Standing in for Harold. I'll second it.
Motion to approve the prior meeting minutes moved by Counselor Heising and seconded by Counselor Steers. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And we do have Ron Shotley wishing to address council tonight. Ron, if you'd like to come up to the podium, Ron has shown interest just to come forward and discuss the school levy with council.
Well, first of all, I just want to thank you all for allowing me to come and speak. I promise not to take too much of your time. This is your lucky day. I have a voice that only lasts about 10 minutes. And I know you're all tired from watching basketball all weekend,
Yeah.
so I'm got a little brain dead myself. We were watching games, the men's and the women's, so anyway. So the reason I've asked to come here tonight and to give you my thoughts, my feelings on this upcoming school levy. And I've talked to a lot of people in the community. I mean, we get around, we don't sit at home all the time. We're talking to people constantly, you know. We see people out and about. We see people at the games, obviously. So there's a lot of talk about the school levy, and there's a lot of concern about the school levy. And I'm not here to talk about the technical stuff, you know, the money, the accounting, and all that. I've read some of it, but frankly, I don't understand all of it, and I'd get cornered in a heartbeat if I got into that. I'm really here to talk about what I feel is an impact statement, you know, what I see coming down the pike if the school doesn't get more funding, schools. And, you know, there's a lot of that accounting stuff available on the school's website, so not going to get into it. There is one thing I want to mention before I get into that other stuff, is for 35 years, my wife helped take care of other people's kids. You know, she watched kids, she watched a year or 2 kids for a while. But, I mean, we've watched those kids grow up, you know. We've, from infants all the way up till, you know, they started school. And even after that, we maintain contact with a lot of them. So we've seen what they've become after school. I mean, you've got teachers, nurses, one's a corporate pilot, and not all these kids graduated from Wauseon. You know, some of them moved away, some of them, you know, graduated from schools locally, but they all had their start here in Wauseon. They all had a contact or an association with the Wauseon schools. And like I said, we have teachers, nurses, social workers, one of which spent 27 months in the Peace Corps in South Africa. We've had a nutritionist come out of that group, a farmer, an organic farmer, vegetable farmer. One owns a landscaping company. We had a fireman come out of that group. So they've all gone on to, as far as I know, all but one went on to some form of secondary education. I'm pretty confident in that. And I'm talking, she watched, we're guessing 40 to 50 kids. People ask us how many kids we have. We say none, but we helped raise 40 to 50 other kids, So we've seen what's happened with their lives over the years. Like I said, we've maintained contact with a lot of them. And the reason they've been so successful, in my mind, is that a lot of it, in part at least, they all come from good family, good stock. But it all started with the schools. How good their training was, how good their education was, how good their participation in activities. That's all part of it. That's all part of the school learning process. And it's not just the subjects that they took when they were in school. It's more than that. It's the relationships they made and their own interests and the school activities they participated in. That all led to who they are and what they do and how successful they are. So, going on, if this levy doesn't pass and if the school doesn't get more funding, it's not going to work. We can't expect them to be successful if all we do is send them to school and pack their heads full of facts and don't give them the whole school experience. And I can tell you, I'm pretty sure of this, and it's based on experience with all the kids that I've known, all the kids that have gone through our house. In Wauseon, if everything happens that could happen, if the school levy fails and they don't get more funding and everything's shut down except for going to school, going to class, and going home, Wauseon is going to be a nice place to be from. These kids aren't going to want to stay here. I mean, they're going to go on to other schools, they're going to see other cities, they're going to have other experiences. So they're not going to stay here. You're not going to have people coming into this town where there's no reason to. This has to be fixed. I don't know if it's a levy or something else, but it's got to be fixed. And we've all heard, about the things that are going to be cut. First of all, the busing. And we've had a bus stop at the end of our driveway for years. And we've watched, admittedly, I'm retired, so I don't get up at the crack of dawn every morning. But sometimes I'm up early enough to see kids standing out in front at the end of our driveway, waiting for the bus in the dead of winter at 7:10 in the morning or something like that. So I can't imagine those kids having to walk to school in the dead of winter. And the country, there's been talk, I see it on the internet, about the country going, full-time daylight savings time. If that happens, so instead, the kid's going to be out there, and they don't always show up way ahead of the bus, but the kids are going to be standing out there or walking to school. I mean, it's not going to get daylight till almost 8 o'clock, so, that's a long trip. And God forbid if anything happens to one of those kids because of this. Whether they get hurt, they get hit, get snatched, it can happen. So, we need the buses. The National Honor Society, I've heard, will be cut. It's a funded position, so it's gone. So for the kids that, they can get into that, it'll be gone. I'm sure there'll be the honor roll or whatever it is. That'll take place, but the National Honor Society will be gone. And sports, obviously, will be cut. They'll be gone if things don't happen, if they don't get more money. And, you know, I can only, this is what I can imagine. I may be wrong, I don't know. But, you know, I can't imagine driving by the football field on a Friday night and it's dark. I can't imagine seeing the gym locked up for volleyball, for basketball, girls and boys. And, you know, I don't know if it'll happen or not, but if there's no money to maintain that sports-related facilities, I walk by the soccer field, first of all, it'll be locked, but then the grass will grow long because there's no money to maintain it. So don't mow the grass, guess what happens? It gets long. Same for the baseball diamond and the softball diamond. And the pool will be drained. No money to maintain it. Why keep it full of water and spend the chemicals to put in the pool when you don't need the pool? So, and worst of all, you know, I feel for the kids. My wife and I are about the kids, you know, and I can't imagine the kids driving by the football field at Napoleon, Evergreen, Liberty Center, or God forbid Archbold, and seeing their lights on, their stands full, their kids are playing football, and they're not good at all. So that said, you know, I guess I'm here to ask you all to support this school levy in any way that you can. You need it. You're the leaders of the city. And I can tell you, because of us getting around and talking to people, somehow or other we got into a coffee group out at McDonald's some mornings. I always said I'd never do that, but I did. The old people. And, you know, don't get out there and talk to them, because I hear it in more places than one. I hear it in 3 or 4 places, as a matter of fact, that some of you are encouraging people not to vote for the levy, either through direct contact, letters, mailings, social media, or not. That can't happen. You guys, like I said, you're the leaders of the city, and I guess just say that y'all need to be supporting this levy. You don't have to vote for it. That's up to you. You know, I'm not going to say, I'm not going to follow you into the voting booth and look over your shoulder. But please don't encourage people not to vote for it, to vote no. So, and you know, I'm worried about the consequences of this. Sorry, I need a drink of water. The consequences are going to be disastrous. I mean, if it goes on, especially. You may survive 1 year, but your small businesses, Dr. Phil over there, his business, it's all going to suffer. It's going to become a horror story if it doesn't get fixed. People aren't going to move in. The guy that was at the last meeting building this new extension out at Seneca, nobody's going to build a house on that property. Nobody in their right mind. We live back by the addition back in the back there that Larry Warnke started. I told him he was going to fail when it started, because I just had a feeling. And sure enough, in the end, he had to sell it for next to nothing. And so that's what's going to happen if this school levy fails. You know, nobody's going to want to move here. Nobody's going to want to work here. You know, and so again, I'll just say that we got to make sure this gets fixed. However, whether it's a levy or whatever, I don't know. I'll be more than glad to help. I mean, wherever I can, but I don't have a lot of clout. You do. So, and I'll just say, you know, the students have a right to expect good schools. So, and we need to make sure. We still have, some of the kids haven't graduated yet, they're still in school. There's some older kids that she took care of, and some younger ones. One of them's in the 1st grade. I can't imagine watching that little kid when we love her to death. I had probably more exposure to her because I was retired at the time. She still had her up until the COVID started. I can't imagine her going through another 11 years of school with, what could happen. It's not right. It needs to be fixed. So I'll just say, I think we can do this. And we need to do it. So that's all I have.
Thank you. And I just want to say I appreciate you and Sandy and everything you did for those young kids, because I know as a teacher you used to babysit quite a few of them, and it takes a lot. And you do have a lot of compassion for the children. And for that, I say thank you very much. And Ron, you did well.
Thanks.
He was a little nervous.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of.
They were always at the games. I didn't know they didn't have kids.
Yeah, they have always been at the games.
Are you? We're basketball freaks.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, moving forward. No department head reports at this meeting, no committee reports, and we have nothing under 1st reading or 2nd reading, but lo and behold, we're finally going to get to that 3rd reading of Dylan. So, under 3rd reading, we have Resolution 2022-2. Is a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Dylan Control Systems for engineering services.
I'll move.
Thank you.
I'll second. Oh, did you want it?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Motion to place resolution 2022-2 on final reading, and the final reading be passed, moved by Counselor Heising and seconded by Counselor Tiarena. Any discussion? Counselor Heising?
Yes.
Counselor Tiarena?
Yes.
Counselor President Steers?
Yes.
Counselor Schneider?
Yes.
Counselor Chamberlain?
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries.
Okay, thank you. I have nothing under new business. Council?
Harold was going to bring up tonight, he spoke to me, a concern about what the pay for our lifeguards in the summer is going to be. The reason he brought it up, he said there was an article that Toledo Zoo was paying $15 an hour for summer help, and Toledo Pools were paying $16 an hour for lifeguards. And everybody said, well, nobody's going to travel there with the price of gas, which is probably true unless you get 3 or 4 people that carpool and go there. I talked to Jamie, she thought our pay was around $10 an hour. I called Archibald today. They start at $9.35 and go to $13.05. Napoleon said they were between 10 and 11, but they were planning to go up. So I know he was going to bring it up, and I'm just mentioning because he's not here, that he wanted to have a finance committee meeting just to discuss it and see if we want to raise ours a little bit to make sure we have enough people to cover the pool.
Ours does go up based on experience, though.
Yes.
too,
Right,
correct?
but
So
she said she
that's-
thought most of it was 10 to 11. That's what she told me the
Well,
other day.
it depends on whether they're in management or not, and from what I'm understanding, that still has not been completed as to what they're going to make, because they have not done all the interviews yet of how many do you have coming in?
Talked with Tom. Tom sets the wages based under people that we have coming in, years of experience. Each year we give them an incremental increase. We're very fortunate. We had 17 lifeguards at the end of last year. We are projecting all 17 coming back we have 33 interviews set up for the pool. So as far as the lack of lifeguards, we don't foresee that, at least in this coming year. And because of the facilities and the environment down there, we have a good working environment. We have good management, most of them get along. We've had 4 kids that have been here since the pool opened. Out of those 17, about 60% of them have been here at least 3 years. So they are coming back. We do lose some to attrition because at some point in time, they graduate from college, they move on, they get other jobs, they get move out of the area. But we have, fortunately, with the high school pool, we're pulling from those lifeguards, and we have a little bit better resource for filling our pools than some of the other area ones around here. But our starting wage last year was, I believe, $9.50. $9 or $9.50, I'd have to double check, I don't have the paperwork with me. And like I said, depending on how many years, they've each got increases. I believe our top pay is $13 an hour. So we are right in line with the other area pools around here, and I am not concerned at this point in time about not having lifeguards. But we also have to be cognizant, we still have to keep it within the budget, and those are not the only part-time people that we have. If I'm increasing the pool staff, I'm also increasing the seasonal help that is working at Biddle and the ones at Public Works as well. Because I'm not going to increase one and say, well, because you work at the pool, you get more money than if you work just mowing lawns. I'm not going to do that.
Or noted that if they come back, that they need to also get increased in the
Right,
Public Works
because-
Division as well as part-time it should be a policy for all. The one thing, Stephen, I understand you're very fearful that we're going to lose kids, but talking to other pool areas, they're concerned of their own kids from their communities coming back as well. So there's not a lot of openings for well, if they make more, I'm going to go there. Well, who's to say there's not that many openings at their pools either. So I think that we're trying desperately to keep going where we should, but I didn't realize we had that many coming back until just this afternoon when you called. So I'm impressed that we have that many applying.
I
That's
brought it
very
up because
impressive.
Harold told me he was gonna bring it up to me
Right.
tonight, and he's not here,
Right.
so.
How many
I'm sure-
hours, I'm sorry,
No,
how many
I-
hours a week does a lifeguard typically get?
It really depends, Scott. See, some of the lifeguards start right at the beginning of the season and only can work part of it because then they go on to football or they're going to college. Some of them can't start right away because they're still in college or school. So it's kind of
And the
offset.
But I mean,
weather.
can they get 30 to 40 hours a weekend? Tough, or?
If
Maybe
some-
management?
Some of them, yes, but most of the guards, number one, most of them don't want a
Right
lot of
on.
hours.
Okay.
Most of them want, 1-2 days a week,
Oh, really?
something to do. If you want the hours, they're there to work, especially with the pool parties. And lately, we've been getting a call, 1 or 2 calls a day. I think we're running out of spots for pool rentals on Saturdays. As many calls as we're
Golden
getting.
alternate B.
And those 33 applicants, you think that's also combining applicants for the snack shack and lifeguard? You think
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're not all lifeguards?
No, they're not all lifeguards. But I think most of them are cross-trained so that if
Right.
they can work in the snack shack or they can work
As a guard.
as a lifeguard. Same way with the managers can work as managers or they can work as lifeguards if needed.
It does provide some flexibility there.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then do we cover the cost of like the CPR training and that type of stuff, or they
Yes.
have to do that before
Yes.
they?
As long as they finish the season out, then we cover the cost of their
Okay.
certification
Yeah.
And their suits.
and their suits.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yes.
When I was in college, I used to tell the girls I was a lifeguard in the summertime because it sounded cool. I could
You
barely-
wanted to be with
I
the
could-
in
I could
crowd.
barely swim.
How many times you hop the fence to get in the pool?
Oh, a few times.
There's no police officer here.
Oh, man.
He's gonna plead the fifth to that.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Keith and Steve. Anything else under new business, council? Okay, and I guess you want to say anything? All right.
The mayor's silent partner.
Yes. I guess we just need a motion to pay the bills, please.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion to approve and pay the bills as presented, moved by Counselor Schneider and seconded by Council President Steers. Any discussion? Counselor Schneider?
Yes.
Council President Steers?
Yes.
Counselor Tina Rena?
Yes.
Counselor Heising?
Yes.
Counselor Chamberlain?
Pay the bills.
Pay the bill.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Motion carries.
We need a motion for adjournment, please.
I'll make that.
Well, I want my name in the minutes. I'll second it.
Yeah.
You asked a
Motion.
question, you're in choice.
Okay,
Motion to adjourn moved by Counselor Tia Rena and seconded by Counselor Chamberlain. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.